Hello, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors and everyone in between.
It is 8:30 in Vienna, which means it's time for It Should Be About Something.
That's right.
Smiling at the camera.
Yeah. So, It Should Be About Something. That's our show. And what did you say? It's 8:30?
It is.
And it's June 2nd?
It is June 2nd.
This is episode 67.
Yeah.
Man. But, you know, those episodes, they just keep rolling along. So,
yeah, it's like a new episode every week.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
If you're joining us for the first time, hello and welcome. This is It Should Be About Something. If you haven't gotten onto the chat, you should do that. It's one of the friendliest chats this side of the interwebs. You know, I feel like the last one was... Normally we would just, you know, ask each other how our week was, but it kind of flew by.
Yeah.
Not a lot happened somehow.
No, it was a week.
Yeah. It was a week.
It's like I had nothing happening.
Yeah. I bet it was the same for everybody else.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Should we just go on to the first segment?
You know what? Screw it. Let's just go on to the first segment.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, cool.
It Should Be About Something comes to you in 3 parts. We call them chapters. This is chapter 1. On no, seriously,
what the fuck? Where were you guys?
Oh shit, that's right. We've been gone for a long time.
We've been gone for 9 weeks.
9 weeks?
Yes.
9 weeks?
9 weeks. We've been gone for exactly how old my kids are. Yeah, perspective.
Wow.
So the last show we did was on the 24th. Yeah.
The 24th of March. That's crazy. So...
What have you been doing? Like, I've been doing not much, actually.
So the... Father of the year over here. Father of the year. You know what? Screw it. Before we get into it, let's just get some slurpers.
Damn.
Hey, everybody.
Yes. Whoa.
So, I tell you what, everybody's. March 24th. We were still doing Down the Rabbit Hole back then. The show with the lovers. After
that came after the 24th.
Yeah.
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 I think it opened on the 29th or something.
Yeah, exactly. We were doing Down the Rabbit Hole. And then after that, I was in Amsterdam
you've been traveling.
and Brussels.
You went to Amsterdam for King's Day.
Yeah, got there for King's Day and had an amazing time. Shout out to Rod for being such a wonderful host. Then got to celebrate Kiki, the wonderful and talented Kiki Honen's birthday.
Oh, nice.
And finally get to meet her fella Kevin.
Snack.
Super good dude. And had a fun time there. Then we went to Brussels and stayed in Audrey Hepburn's birthplace.
Somebody twittered the other day, who is the most beautiful woman you have ever seen? And 50% of the answers were Audrey Hepburn.
Wow.
Men and women.
Yeah. Well, it was, what's his name? You know, he actually just saw her somewhere and said, that's my Gigi. Mm-hmm. She'd never acted before in her life.
No way.
And her first role was this major production. It's like one of those stories that became iconic, you know, like sitting on the stool at Schwab's kind of a story.
Right.
In any case, her birth house is really beautiful, and shout out to Kelly Agatos, who...
I never realized she was Belgian.
Yeah, she's not, I don't know, like mom was French and dad was...
Diplomats.
Yeah, was Dutch and...
Right.
And in any case, a beautiful place. And while I was there, I got to see some old friends and make some new ones. And then I went to Greece. And went to Greece for the first time.
He's Mr. All Over the Show.
Yeah, right. And then had to come back. Came back.
Why did you have to come back?
Well, there was Corona is a pain in the tits. and Corona will still fuck with you. And there was a Corona thing, and so I had to come back and got a bunch of stuff done, which was really fun. Got to see Wolf Zürtel. He and I got to do a shoot together out in this beautiful country house outside of Vienna. And Wolf Zürtel was the DOP of Another One Opens, the English Lovers' fully improvised feature-length film that we represented Austria with at the European Union Film Festival in Chicago. And that was 10
Which was
years
10 years ago, which will be 10 years this fall, yeah.
Crazy. And then I went back to Greece, finished the work, and then I got back here, and here I am. I did a show in Das Vindobene, and finally we're back with Isbaz.
It looked to me like on Facebook you'd done several shows in Das Vindobene.
No.
It was just the one?
Just the one.
It was good advertising then.
Trying to get butts on seats.
Right.
It's hard enough. I ran into an old buddy, Ants Molden, who you know.
Yes, I do.
And he said, in his very Viennese, "Du, es ist, ich sag's dir, Jim, 50% ist das neue ausverkauft."
We did a show once where there were no seats in the auditorium. When the audience came to the box office, they'd buy a ticket and they'd get a folding chair.
That's cool.
So we were always sold out.
Love it. Every seat was full.
Every seat was full, yeah.
Every seat had a butt in it. Yeah, so there was a bunch of adventures and stories I could tell all throughout that. But it was crazy getting out again and getting around and doing stuff.
It's like it seems like you crammed a half a year into 9 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
9.5 weeks.
9.5 weeks.
Did you see that movie?
I was far too young for that movie, but yeah, I saw that.
Oh. I worked in the cinema when it was out.
Dang.
But I didn't watch it. Because I didn't actually care. I think I tried watching it like years later and decided it was a load of crap.
Yeah.
Is it really a load of crap?
I don't remember.
I think I did not finish watching it.
Yeah.
I like that theme song though.
Yeah?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like one of the Joe Cocker performances that I liked.
What was
I'm not
the
a
theme
big
song?
Joe Cocker fan. You Can Leave Your Hat On.
That was the main song in that. Oh yeah, where she does the.
Like, and I think it was in fact her, Basinger, doing the dance in the video. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, she's kind of hot.
Oh
she
my
was,
goodness, she was
hot back then.
huge. She was like the babe.
Totally.
So yeah, what were you doing?
Not much.
Father of the Year. Somebody get a screenshot. Father of the Year. Look in the camera. There he is. Father of the Year.
Yeah, I became a father.
How many days after our last Isbaz did it go down?
2 days.
2 days.
And I didn't realize that until today when I was doing the editing on the promos.
Right.
That we did Isbaz on the 24th and the kids were born on the 26th.
Yeah.
Basically, exactly 48 hours after we started the last Isbaz. They were born at like just after 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. on the 26th. Yeah, and I've done the same, more or less the same thing every day for the past 9 weeks, which is get up and warm bottles of milk and stick them in small people's mouths, and then clean up the shit that they leave afterwards.
Is it like really like a 1-to-1 ratio?
Like, 1-to-1 what ratio?
Like
What you put in comes out?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. No way.
Not even close.
Not even close. Like, the amount of milk that you can put in a baby without poop coming out for 3 days is incredible.
Oh, so you're putting way more in and then not enough is coming out?
It's like August, right? He's a little bit constipated. You know, he's got these constipated days, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And there was because they were born early. They are on iron drops, which kind of make you a little bit more constipated.
Right.
And because they got no own biome yet, they're kind of constipated in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So he gets 90 milliliters of milk about 10 times a day.
It's like my vodka rationing.
So that's like a liter of milk a day. It's kind of what goes what goes in, right?
Yeah.
And he took a dump today, but he didn't do one yesterday, and he didn't do one the day before. Right? I mean, he wasn't happy with it. Nobody was happy with the situation, but so it's incredible how much liquid how much milk you can put in them without any poop coming out at all.
Right.
There's lots of pee-pee that comes out. There's huge amounts of pee-pee that come out.
Right. Okay, so I think we've spoken of this before on this program, that the first poop that the baby has is mostly hair, because of all of the from the amniotic fluid.
Right.
And they swallow a bunch of that, and it's almost like pure hair.
I cannot
confirm nor
confirm
deny.
that. I can't confirm that.
I see.
I was there when they took their first poops.
Yeah?
But there was no hair, at least no visible hair.
Right.
Like the first poop is very black and kind of sticky, like tar.
Right, and I think that's why it's the hair poop.
Possible.
Okay.
No visible hair.
Right. But it's good to know that all of the waterworks work, and that they're pooping and peeing and swallowing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're just one big donut, people.
One big donut.
Yeah. We got one hole here and one hole there. It's just human beings are a donut.
Yeah. And sometimes the milk comes out this way as well.
Oh yeah. I hear you.
One of the best pukes that my daughter had was she was lying in the cot, and a couple of times she'd puked in the cot. So that means.
Does it like sprout like the Bellagio, like a fountain in front of a hotel?
No, it's more like she'll puke, and she'll puke like right here and there.
Right.
So
it's just a blurb.
Yeah, but it'll maybe running down here.
Right.
So
it's
it'll
blurb.
like all of it. It'll be like blah, 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 and then it'll collect in her collar, and then it'll run down here. It'll just all of it come out. It'll all ooze out kind of at the same time, right?
Yeah. So she's the Puke-O-Matic 2000.
We call her Little Miss Pukey Face.
Little Miss Pukey Face.
When she's got because she does that face as well. She's like,
yeah.
And you think, yeah,
You're gonna puke.
You don't look happy, and she's like, I don't feel good, Dad. And then you're like, well, you're gonna throw up. No, I'm gonna try and keep it down. And then by the time we've forgotten about it, then she'll throw up.
Yeah, and then it's in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, then you've got to change it. But one of the most impressive ones was after she puked in the cot a couple of times, and that means you've got to clean the whole cot, you've got to clean the baby, you've got to change the whole bedding. She's lying in the cot, and I'm watching her, and she takes a puke, and she puked straight out of the cot, past the bars, onto the wooden floor.
like a real projectile.
Complete projectile
happening.
of everything, of the entire contents of her belly.
Love it.
In this fountain of white puke, and everything stayed clean because I just had to wipe it off the floor.
Just where it landed.
Yeah. But that only happened once.
Only the one time.
Only the one time. Yeah.
Well, damn it. Let's say a quick hello to people in the chat, Michael.
I think we should.
Man, it's been a long time. Let's see if we can remember how to scroll. Follower of Clay in the house.
Give me an R.
Yeah.
Ready.
They're ready. Andrew is in the house.
It's like Andrew hasn't been to an Isbaz show for a couple of times. Not the last 9 weeks, but for a couple of shows before.
So I followed some of Andrew's adventure with the
traveling.
car. With the car.
That's right.
You got to let us know what kind of a car it is and when it's arriving. That was really exciting. Valid chapter. One could break a bone, have it fixed, and heal by now. 9.5 weeks.
I think you can fly to the moon and back.
Philly Girl 1000 is in the house. Hello, Philly Girl. Moko is in the house. Hello. And Verena. Hey,
wave
everybody.
at the camera. Wave at the screen.
Verena waves to the screen. Super cool. Okay, so here's the thing. Corona is a pain in the tits. Life-changing moments are life-changing. Our ship blew up. His ship blew up 2 times. And the thing that was super constant was you guys in the ISBAZ HQ.
Yeah. It was great to go on Facebook at 4 o'clock in the morning after I'd wiped bums and fed faces and just like some of the shit you guys were posting. So
it was amazing and so heartwarming. You know, there was that long time when we were here all the time and we had this groove going and it was super fun, and then it's just kind of crept up. Life creeps up on you. And then it's just so weird how easily that can just...
Yeah.
It was so nice to know that there was this candle in the window, I guess. Does that make sense?
Totally. Candle in the window.
Like a candle in the window.
Elton John did not do himself a favor when he rewrote that song for Princess Diana.
In what way?
He rewrote that whole song to go.
Yes.
It doesn't go Goodbye Norma Jean. It goes Goodbye England's Rose.
Yeah.
And then there's some other lyrics that he kind of changed.
Yeah.
It's like shoehorning a square peg in a round hole.
I hear what you're saying. I mean, it was a different time. I remember it must have been early '97 because I hadn't moved to Austria yet.
Do you remember where you were when you heard?
Basically, because I heard it from the doorman of this apartment where I was living in this house. I was living with the $3 Million woman and this dancer named Russell.
They filmed her in slow motion so that it looked like she was moving fast. But she was only the $3 Million woman, not the $6 million man.
No, we called, her name was Tamara. We called her the $3 Million woman because that's basically what she made every hour. She was the VP at the time, the VP of technology for the largest telecommunications company back then in the world. And she lived in this beautiful apartment in Boston. And her roommate was this guy named Russell from Manchester.
Right.
And it was through Russell.
He's a Russell.
Russell,
yeah.
Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And it was through Russell that I met Howard from Take That, the boy band.
Yeah,
Take That.
I remember the band. There was
And
a Howard in that.
Russell came up with a couple of those guys, and one of his buddies was named Howard, who was in this thing. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, the doorman of this building, and so I was staying with them for a while, and the doorman.
And Jim is the world champion of staying with other people. Actually, like I did a show with Rainy Moritz a couple of days ago actually, and he was like, yeah, Jim. And he showed me a photograph of himself.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not you. He was wearing a lady's swimming suit.
Uh-huh.
And I said, that's not you. And he said, yeah, it is. I'm like, really? Wow, time. And he's like, yeah, time changes you.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh yeah, and Jim, that's how I know Jim, because Jim kind of stayed with me for a bit, and his girlfriend was like, so can Jim and his friends stay for a couple of days? And he was like, yeah, okay. And he was like, 3 months.
It wasn't quite like that, but again, it was also a different time. That's a whole nother story too. I can tell you about those times. And where were we? Anyway, the doorman of this building, he was this big, burly, round-faced, always friendly, very American, number one guy. But he was in love with Princess Diana. Mm-hmm. And we came home one night from drinking.
Heartbroken.
And he was crying like a little girl.
Fuck me.
And we were like, what is going on? And he was like, they killed her. Or not. She's dead. And it was like,
You
what
didn't
is
even
going
know
on?
who they were talking
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
Who
we
he was
didn't
talking
have,
about
and then finally,
Crazy.
and then finally he told the story, and he pulls out this scrapbook that he's had over the years, where he's just kept, he was just a real, what do they call them?
A fan.
Well, yeah, just not a fan, but he was also like of the whole royal family
of
some kind of file.
Right.
I don't know.
Nuts. I remember when she married Charlie. That was a kind of a bit of a weird day because I was at my friend's. I was 12.
Right.
And at my friend's house, and it was being televised. It was one of those first things that got televised. It was the space shuttle, the first space shuttle takeoff and landing. That was televised worldwide, and I made sure that I was, home for that. And the royal wedding. And I remember that we were having noodles for lunch, and we were like, "Fucking get on with it," because the noodles are in the pot and they're boiling, and they're getting soggy. Right? Just fucking get married now, get finished. And by the time she died, I'd lost interest completely in the whole shizzle.
Yeah.
And I remember I was staying with. We don't need to kill that yet. No. I was staying with friends. We'd gone away for a weekend, and we were staying in their little Almhütte.
Alpine.
And
hut.
I came down for breakfast. Everybody else was up, and the first thing they said was, "Princess Diana's dead," and I was like, "What's for breakfast?"
Yeah.
Because
by
that time it was just that paparazzi thing didn't really. The interest was completely gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how that time passed.
So Monica, if you're having trouble remembering who these people are, you should drink more.
Yeah. Let's slurp this.
Yeah, here we are.
Cheers. Cheers.
Actually, we have a slurper surprise.
Yeah,
but we'll do the slurper surprise later.
Yeah. We're gonna slurper surprise.
Right.
Who's that teenager next to Michael? It's me. It's the gym personator.
The gym personator has a good tan. He's looking very healthy. He's much healthier than Jim. He's skinnier than Jim, and his jokes are better. And
I've given myself away.
He was on time.
I live in the future. So I hope everybody was fine. Oh, check it out. Real chicken tenders in the house. Good to see you. So I guess at the end of the day, all we're trying to say is thank you all so very much for sticking in there. And we are going to come back next week.
For all the high quality HQ presents.
Yeah, lots of high quality HQ presents. But we are going to come back next week, and that's exciting as well. So, Michael, before we move on, I want to know two things. Number one, which of the two do you like better?
This is being recorded, isn't it? You know, they're so similar, I can hardly tell them apart. If I said one name now, I probably mean the other one, so, you know, it wouldn't be fair.
Love it. All right, question number two.
Actually, this is the what am I going? I wasn't expecting them to be so dissimilar. I feel a little bit let down by the fact that they don't look anything like each other.
Right. You wanted to get confused.
I wanted them to at least look like each other, but they don't look anything like each other. I mean, when they were born, August was half a kilo heavier than September, and now he's already a kilo ahead of her. she's like this tiny little thing, and he's like baby Buddha, you know.
I still haven't had a chance to see these young little beings that have slipped.
We call them
their
the tiny
chains and
tiny toothless terrors.
joined us in the world. You call them what?
The tiny toothless terrors.
The tiny toothless terrors with their tiny toes.
Yeah, the tiny toes are very cute.
I want to see the tiny toes. Yeah, I haven't seen them yet, and so I'm very excited. Question number 2.
Yes.
Now that you've met your children, who do you love more, them or your wife?
There's no distinction between them, actually. It's like it's interesting, actually, because I went from being in a relationship with one person
Right.
to being in a relationship with 3 persons kind of seamlessly.
I wonder if Christina would use the same
Well, I mean,
adverb.
maybe you know that this is an adult show, so you know what I mean. It immediately went into that space of being a member of a family and not it's us and them.
Right.
It's weird how that happens.
Right.
Or I don't know, but it happens to everybody that way. But that's definitely how it happened to me. It was like quite strange, actually.
Did you have an affinity to them right away?
Yeah. About 5 minutes after they were born, September was getting, she had an oxygen mask on, and they were kind of massaging her, and she was having trouble breathing, and the degree of panic that I went through watching them do that was
Right.
uncanny.
Yeah.
Like she'd been out of the womb for 5 minutes and I was already petrified about what was going to happen to her.
Right. So yeah. Okay. Well, then I guess that is the definition of connection.
And August he came out sleeping. This is okay. So they've got superpowers, right? His superpower is he can always sleep.
Love it.
So he was born sleeping.
Right.
In fact, he was born sleeping so solidly that the doctor said to the nurse, "Wake him up just to make sure he's breathing." And she was born in like this. He was like, "Finally, freedom!" Screaming at the top of her lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here!"
Apparently, when I was born, Doc pulls me out, still umbilical cord, holds me up, and I just look around and realize, all right, I see what's going on here. This is all bullshit. I'm gonna piss on this. And I just started to piss, hitting some bystander in the eye. And the doc says, "Well, the waterworks work."
Brilliant. Yeah, and September's superpower is that she's so tiny.
She can slip into any crevice. She's the perfect spy.
Yeah. It's incredible how small she can be. It's like, I mean, she's twice the size that she was then, but she's still so small compared to him. And she rolls herself up into this little ball like an armadillo.
Right.
And it's just the cutest thing. She's like this little cat.
Is she more legs or more body right now?
She's half and half.
She's half and half.
But she's very rarely stretched out like that.
Right. She's always
She's always like
right.
Like you can fold it together like that.
Right. Love it. Okay, so just a quick look in here. You don't call them number 8 and number 9? I think that's an interesting
that's
question.
Nice. Number 8 and number 9. I like it.
Yeah.
Who said that?
That's Verena.
Verena.
Of course.
Very clever.
So
number 8 and number 9. I like it.
and
Because we've been calling them player 1 and player 2, not in any particular order.
Right.
It's just like if you've had the one that's been crying for half an hour and the other one's sleeping, it's like, do you want to change players?
yeah. Player 2 has entered the game.
Player 2 is tilt. Enter player 1, right? But player 8 and 9, I like that. That's really cool.
Verena also says he was probably annoying her the whole time in the womb. That's why he's tired and she's happy to be away from her bro for a minute.
I don't actually think so, because he was super chilled the whole time in the womb. It's
Yeah.
like from the first examination that we had, he was in pole position. He was head by the exit.
He just got himself into this position and was like, all right, now I'm going to rest here until it's time to roll.
He did not move.
Right.
He stayed exactly there.
And she was all like,
he was just
what's going on?
waiting for the doors to open, right?
Right.
And she was like on top of him, like this way, and then she had her head down, she had her head up, she was lying sideways. And,
Yeah, just exploring.
And basically kind of freaking out because he'd chosen the big room and he kind of
It sounds like
taken up all the space, and she was kind of like,
you know the machine? You remember the machine? The machine, she has a theory that at parties, there are 2 kinds of party goers. You have the Steher and the Geher. Mm-hmm. And the Steher are the ones that stand around, and let the party come to them.
Right.
And the Geher are the ones that kind of move around and explore and see what's going on. Sounds like a classic Steher and Geher verhältnis.
yeah, possibly.
I think we should move on to our next chapter because Verena's number 8 and number 9 question is a very good one.
Yeah, that kind of sealed it.
Kind of do
Thank you for that.
And Philly Girl 1000 letting everyone know that, I'm going to poke him in the ribs. I'm going to shiv him once in a while. Here we go. Chapter number 2.
Oh, is this it?
On names, naming,
And getting named.
2022, y'all. So this is the perfect chapter. Calling them 8 and 9. Now, I just want to ask the first question. I want to know, first of all, the children's names. What's her name?
September.
Yes. Can you give out the whole August? Awesome. I love it. Now, you finally had a chance to name a person. You have now
I've named lots of people, but this is the first time that it's
going
stuck.
to stick for a while in any case. So, in collaboration with your wife, you have chosen names for these tiny, tiny peoples.
Yes.
Can you please explain yourself? Here now.
So the process of deciding what to call them was kind of long because my wife wanted to start the process way early before we knew what we were getting, like what flavor they were going to be.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not even considering names until I know what we're getting.
Right.
Because it's just going to be a waste of time. You choose 2 girls' names and you end up with 2 boys or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So once we knew that we were getting a boy and a girl is when we kind of started exploring what names the other one comes up with that make us laugh out loud.
Okay.
Or just shake our heads in dismay.
Right.
I think we started playing this game as well at some point where we just say anything just to see the reaction on the other one's face. Well, let's call him Ernie. And you're like, just see the rolling of the eyes, huh?
I think I played this with you. Like I was like, the boy, it's got to be manly name. Like what about Brick?
No, you wanted me to call him Jim.
No.
You said, Jim, that's a nice manly name.
No. James. Because it works for both boys and girls. No.
That's right.
I'm on the other one where it was like Brick and Steel.
Yeah.
Forest.
Nail.
Nail.
What a terrible name. I've always wondered how you could call anybody Brick.
Stone.
And we did that show the other day, a couple of weeks ago, in the Drachengas. Not Drachengas, in Tag.
Yeah.
And we did a...
This is good stuff.
It was good stuff, yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, but you were there because...
You were there.
We did that. Tennessee Williams, improvised
Yes,
Tennessee Williams.
Yes.
And the my character's name was Klotz.
That's right. Klotz.
How can you call someone Brick? It's nuts.
All right, so those names, Julian, Carl, Julian, Carl, August.
Yes.
August comes.
August, definitely August.
August. So
It's not August, it's August.
it's August.
Yeah.
So August, because of the month of,
Well, because we knew that Christina was pregnant in August,
right?
and then we knew that we were getting twins in September.
Right.
And then we went on holiday, and we kind of just started jokingly calling them August and September.
Right.
And then about 8-9 months later, we were like, heck, well, we can just call them August and September.
Yeah. Now, how did you decide which one was which?
I think we decided that August was a bad name. No, September was a bad name for a boy.
Right.
And he came out first, so he's 8 and she's 9.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
Very difficult finding boys' names that we liked.
Yeah.
Lots of girls' names that we liked, actually. But boys' names, tough.
Yeah. I mean, you had one on a silver platter.
James. And Carl. I could have gone with Charlie as well. Wouldn't really have bugged me. But it's a family thing.
Yeah.
My second name's Carl.
Right.
My dad's second name's Carl.
Yeah.
And we are both named, and obviously Julian is as well.
Yeah.
And we are both named, and obviously Julian is as well, named for my great uncle Carl, who emigrated to the United States.
Oh, wow.
After the First World War, and whom my grandmother, so my father's mother, didn't know of until she was well into her 30s, because they were separated. Because she was much younger than he was, and
As brother and sister.
Brother and sister. So there was my grandmother, who was the youngest, my great aunt and my great uncle, and the great aunt and the great uncle knew of each other, but they'd been separated as children. And he was 18 and emigrated to the United States, and she stayed in Vienna and got married, right? And my grandmother grew up as a Smolik, adopted by the Smoliks, right? Not knowing that she had a brother and a sister. Mm-hmm. And then the story she told me was she was working for a doctor as a medical assistant, and there was another medical assistant working there, and they looked similar. And this was like after the Second World War, during the Second World War, sorry. And they were like, well, you guys should go to the Red Cross and see if you're not related. And they went to the Red Cross, and they found out that they're sisters. So my great aunt had known that there was a sister. There was a little sister somewhere, but she didn't know where the sister disappeared to. And so suddenly my grandmother had a big sister, and then found out that she has a big brother as well, who lives in the United States. So when my dad was born, she named him for
The
my
brother
brother.
in the States. Right. Wild. Now, you should cross-reference that story with your mom or your dad.
I
Which side of the family?
cross-referenced the story with my dad at some point, and he was like, really? That's what she told you? It's the first time I've heard it.
That's what I'm saying. And because there are always these family myths and legends, and there's a lot of different versions, especially with
It's
those
crazy, but
those-
I
those
swear I
silent
got that
generation
story
types, yeah.
from the horse's mouth. That's the story that my grandmother told me.
Yeah. But if she's anything like my grandmother,
Yeah, exactly.
there's going to be a lot of stories.
And, you know, these things are weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice story, though.
Okay, so Florentina Margarita.
And his sister is called Florentina, and we met her at their wedding a couple of years ago, and we were like, well, that's a nice name. We should call our daughter that. When we have one.
Wow. Well, there you go. I think you should tell her that she's named after you, not because of you, just because of your name. But it's always nice when people are
We did actually, because I was speaking to my cousin the other day, and she was like, "Oh, we're seeing her. We'll tell her."
All right. So you've named somebody and it's stuck. That's cool. Have you ever named anybody else that it's stuck? Like given somebody a nickname that's stuck? I mean, we both gave Tom Crawley the name .com.
That's true.
And that's kind of stuck.
All of those names are stuck, actually.
Yeah, but I'm not sure anybody else uses it. Kind of like Mr. Perkins. Like nobody else really uses it.
Nobody outside of our group uses it, no.
Yeah.
But I do occasionally refer to Christina's dance moves.
Yeah, right.
Because that was her name.
That's right.
But yeah.
Okay, so those are the only people you've really named. Now, what do you know about your name besides the middle name being named after your great uncle, your granduncle?
I don't know where the Michael came from. I think it was just a popular name at the time when my mom liked it. I was never in a class as a kid where there were not at least one other Michael.
Right, it went through one of those phases. So now, were you into the name Michael? Did you like it?
I've always been ambiguous about it.
Okay.
I think I'm a lot happier with it these days than I used to be.
Did you ever go through a Mike phase or a Mikey?
I was in I think I've always been in a Mike phase. Like I've always been Mike to my family, actually.
Right.
Or at least for a long time.
Yeah.
It was like early teens, I think, when my family started calling me Mike. What I don't like is Michi. That drives me nuts. Yeah. Mikey, no, not so much.
Yeah.
I don't mind being called Mikey, but it depends on who.
So I went through a thing recently where most people call me Jim.
That's the title of your biography right there.
Most people call me Jim.
Except the persons who've named me differently. ...
And there was a time, okay, so when I was younger, people would call me Jimmy.
How did you like that?
When I was younger, I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
When I started to get, or it was Big Jim and Little Jim, because I'm named after my father.
You're number 3, aren't you?
I'm number 2.
Number 2.
But that's that story of in the general convention.
I never think of your father as Jim. I know you're, the second or I always get that confused with you, the second or the third. But I never think of your father as Jim when I think of him.
What do you think of him as?
I think of him as Florida Libby.
It sounds like, like the trope of Florida man, but it's really specific and a little bit worse than your average Florida man story. It's Florida Libby. Dateline, Gainesville, Florida Libby eats alligator. So where the hell were we? Anyway, I've been married. I got named for my dad, but what was it? Oh yeah. So I would be called Jimmy, and that was fine, or it was Big Jim and Little Jim, and then it was Jim, and I liked Jim, and I didn't like Jimmy. I liked Jim. Jimmy was just it was too familiar for strangers to start calling me Jimmy. Because I always associated Jimmy with people that I trusted, and that were my family or whatever, or it was a past sort of childhood name, and as a man, as an adult, I wanted to be called
someone
Jim.
Who's insecure about their sexuality. You don't want to be called Jimmy. You don't want to be called a diminutive of your name.
You sounded like a dude that once hit on me at a bar. where this guy was like, you're young. You're questioning.
Was he an older man?
Oh yeah,
he was
sure. He was
kind of as old as I am now.
Total chicken hawk. And it was all like, you're young and you're questioning your sexuality. And I was like, no, I'm not questioning that. Yeah. Anyway, and there would be then certain people that I would allow. Like there were certain like East European people,
right,
where you could just see they had such a pride and pleasure in having a friend
who has a really American name.
Who had a really American name, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because that was like there was just a lot attached to it.
Yeah.
And they felt proud to be able to
you could have been called Calvin or something like that as well.
Like, Garvin or whatever.
Chad.
But they but they had this like real pride and happiness to be
totally understand that. Yeah.
Jimmy, my friend. This is my friend Jimmy. And he's like, American Jimmy.
It's like embracing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would allow it. The problem was if you go someplace and the highest status person, does that. So there's this director in Greece at this resort where the director of the place is Greek. His name is Odysseus, but we call him Odie. And he always calls me Jimmy, and I have no problem with Odie calling me Jimmy. But because he does it, everybody does it. And this trip, there were times where I would like correct them. I would just be like, "It's Jim," and I would just be like, "No, it's Jim. Sorry, my name's Jim." Right, and I would just kind of. But then I thought,
am I being a dick about it?
Yeah, exactly. And is it really that big of a deal?
It is that big of a deal, actually, because familiarity breeds contempt.
I agree.
So I think it's totally okay to say, Odie and I, we go back. So it's okay for him to call me Jimmy, but please everybody else call me Jim. I don't like being called Jimmy by just everybody.
Yeah, right? And I could have done that, but because I didn't, you have to do that. You have to set that right at the beginning. And if you don't, then. Yeah. And interestingly, not only because everybody at this place are just very sweet folks and very accepting and very open and very sweet, but I think there's something about them calling me Jimmy. It's kind of come around again. When I was younger, in the 50s there were a lot of Jims.
Yeah.
Then my generation, there aren't a lot of Jims. And now that name has kind of come back around with this familiarity and this, or rather this nostalgia for that name, Jimmy. And there's a lot of young kids that I'm working with, they're all in their 20s. They all think I'm like, late 30s. You're in your late 30s. And I swear to you, I think part of it has to do with my name, that they get to call me Jimmy because of that Verniedlichung,
You don't think it's the late nights and the partying and the drugs and the alcohol? They think that all the young kids think someone your age can't take that much abuse anymore.
Yeah. There's no way you could be that old. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. He's buying it.
Doesn't he have to go home and change his adult diaper?
Yeah. It could be. It could be. All right. So when I was a kid. I got my name. Do we have to talk about how I got my name, how that works?
I don't know.
We don't have to talk
Maybe
about
we don't have to do that today.
No, but there is one thing on this naming and getting named thing, which I think is a bigger one. I think we have to come back to this because there's a lot more to talk about, and we've already spent 20 minutes on this bullshit.
Yeah, and we need to move on.
But I do want to mention that when I was confirmed, which is...
You're Catholic?
I was raised. We've talked about this before. I was raised
Really?
Catholic,
God,
and it was
it
was at my confirmation that I left the church, and there was that whole big scandal and blah blah blah. But there's like this tradition.
This is all a haze of vodka to me now.
Where you take another name, and I took a name for my grandfather, my dad's dad, who had he died already? But he once had told me that when he was a young man, he had a favorite character in a book. And that character's name was Blades.
What?
Exactly. And
how do you spell that?
In my young person's brain, I always heard it as Blades, like razor blades, Blades, blades. And I can't remember, it was Blades something, there was a last name, I can't remember.
Oh, it was, okay, right.
And it was a series of books, I think they were maybe Western or just adventure stories for young men. And they were written in the early 20th century.
Isn't this Blaze?
And then I come to find out that it was Blaze, Blaise.
Oh, not Z-E.
No.
S-E, right. Okay,
Not
yeah.
Blaze, like of fire blazing, but Blaize
is how I know that.
Okay,
name.
yeah.
But right,
and there's a
S-E.
Saint Blaze as well,
really?
apparently. And this
He must be Irish.
And this character's name, well, there was that aspect, but there was this character's name was Blaze something or other. And so I took that name because my name, so in fact, my whole name will someday be Professor.
Honorary Professor.
Professor James Franklin Blaze Magic Dick Libby Funk.
Oh yeah, because you get to keep Magic Dick. That's right.
And Professor Funk.
And Professor Funk. There was a
I gotta work that out.
There was a comic. There was the funny papers that used to be in the Sunday papers.
Yeah.
Most of them were funny, and there was always one or two drama ones.
Yeah. Like Prince Ironheart, Eisenherz,
Prince
Valiant, Prince Valiant. Yeah.
And one of them was Blaze something, and it went.
But it was
on,
something Blaze, right? It wasn't like
no, it was,
Blaze.
it was Blaze something.
Okay.
But it went on for as long as I can remember. So when I was a kid, and it was always just three or four pictures of the ongoing Blaze something story.
Chastity Blaze.
No. But for all of my childhood, all of my youth, all of my young adulthood in South Africa, this Blaze comic was printed in the funny papers every Sunday.
Yeah.
So it was just one huge,
big long story. Yeah.
Fucking elegy of a story.
Yeah. So okay,
and I'm not even sure that Blaze, the one that you're talking about.
No.
But yeah, maybe that was a popular name at some point as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that ended up being my whole name, and I know we should move on. But we have, before we go from this chapter, we have one last question. If you could be named two questions. First question: if you could be named something else, what would you take as your nom de plume or your pseudonym? What would be your AKA? Otherwise known as. And also, specifically, to the wonderful follower of Clay, who was a guiding
Modesty
beacon.
Blaze.
Modesty Blaze.
Here we are.
But that's not the Blaze that...
that's the one I mean.
That's the one you mean. So, the wonderful follower of Clay sent along with the wonderful and talented Anna Raab.
But I'm going to say that's Miss Sinclair who knew that's Modesty Blaze.
Probably. And he sent along with the wonderful and talented Anna Raab from Leipzig on the long trek 2 bottles of handmade wonderfulness from Follower of Clay. Now this one, the lighter tannisher yellowery colored bottle, says HGBT. We'd love to know what the name is on this bottle. What is HGBT? And this one is R/ and then it's been rubbed off. So we don't know what's happening here. So if Follower of Clay could let us in on that idea, we will taste these. Yes. And what's your
Just go ahead to the chat actually. Oh, nom de plume? Like if I ever changed my name,
what would be
I
your
never found, it's like tattoos. Changing your name is like, for me, is like tattoos.
Yeah.
I could never decide on a tattoo that I liked enough to have it actually put on my skin.
Did you ever?
And like changing my name is, I've never found another name that I liked enough.
Did you ever
To call myself that.
sign into a hotel under a false name?
No, but I reserve tables at restaurants regularly under false names.
What's one of your favorite false names?
I just go for Smith because everybody can spell that. Nobody knows how to spell Smolik.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so what do we got here? Your son will be the next Austrian emperor. Clay is a nice
Clay's
boy.
a nice boy name. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. August is solid. Love it. Would have opted for Jules or June, but September is special. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. There are women who are called January. That's true.
Yes, there's that January Jones. We like her.
I've known an April. I've known a May. I've known
An
June.
autumn. I've known an autumn.
I've known a Julie. I've known
a Tuesday.
a summer. I have not known a winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Two gin and facts. Facts like the beer.
My other great uncle had 2 dogs called Whiskey and Soda.
Of course. Facts is as in the fat guy in Vicky and the Starken Männer. Faxe.
Faxe, yeah.
Faxe.
But I thought Faxe is a German beer. Is it Danish beer?
It's Danish.
Okay.
Pavlov's dog in the house. Hello, Pavlov's dog. Welcome to the party.
Nice to see you.
You did
Got
not.
drunk with my mother-in-law in the garden.
Excellent.
You missed nothing.
Yeah. It's all the same old. And Richard Hazard. Oh, that's Dick Hazard. That's a good AKA. Richard Hazard.
Richard Hazard.
Yeah. Souveräne. Oh, I love it.
Interesting.
I want to see you play that character, Verena Müller. Verena should play that character as Souveräne. We're gonna find out. She's an artist. She's an artist in all directions. She's a singer, Souveräne. She's a lifestyle. She's a brand.
There's
Souveräne.
a song by the Mission called Severina.
Ooh, and we can change
To
it to
Souveräne.
Hagebutte.
Hagebutte! Oh my God, that is so funny. Which is rose hip.
Rose hips. Okay, so we're
So
gonna
rose hip alcohol.
We're gonna have a little sip of the rose hip. A little sip of the rose hip.
Verenuri. Verenuri sounds a bit like a
Verenuri.
disease.
Yeah. Like Sankt Veit on the Glan.
I've got Sankt Veit on my Verenuri gland.
I had Wasser on dem Knie und Sankt Veit on the Glans.
So, all right. Follower of Clay. You are a man to be followed.
This is crazy smelly yummy.
Wow.
Wow.
It smells like...
What is this a tea? Is this... No,
Okay,
it's
hang on.
Hagebutte.
Wait a minute. This smells...
Hagebutte
Okay, so
liqueur.
correct me if I'm wrong, but it smells... It smells like... It smells savory.
Yeah, it does smell
It smells like Marmite.
It smells like Marmite. It's got a Marmite overtones.
We're doing a review here right now of Follower of Clay's Hagebutte. Say nothing. Say nothing. Oh my fucking sainted aunt, that is really good.
It's like a plum wine.
It's like a sherry.
It's like a It's like something that you would get at a really nice Asian restaurant afterwards.
Yeah, but I like the way that it's not sweet at all.
But there
it's like
is
they
a
made
sweetness.
plum wine with soup.
There's a savoriness to it, but there is a sweetness on the back end because you've got that whole lychee taste. Do you taste the lychees in this?
Mm-hmm. I love the fact that it is so dry, so sick.
Muchado is in the house. Hello, Muchado.
Gang, Follower of Clay, this is excellent. Fuck
And
me.
it's also
I'm
got
giving
this
this 50 slurps out of 50.
50 slurps out of 50. Slurp, slurpers.
I think you press it 3 times, it does it 3 times?
I was hoping for a
No.
slurper. 50. Okay. I love it. It's
This is-
very thick. It's got a Dickflüssigkeit.
I'd love to
viscosity
cook with this, and I think it'd be great for mushrooms.
I can see that.
Mushroom sauce with this. Wow. This is excellent, Follower of Clay. Well done.
Yeah, this has got something going for it. By the way, Muchado, yes, we are on Sumer time. We are Sumerians at this point. We're on ancient Babylonian time.
We're on Sumerian time, but we babble a lot.
Yeah. We're Babylon. Babylon, Babylon. This is pretty yummy.
Okay, so wow. I love the way it tastes a little bit like beef soup.
Right at the end, I got that tea. I got a really strong smash of black tea when I did a shug.
I'm getting beef stew.
Yeah, it's very
Yum.
savory.
Wow. So I don't know how to actually.
I'm cleansing the palate.
You should. Fuck me.
All right.
You need to bottle this. This needs to go out to the planet.
We're going to do. You want to?
No, water. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
So now we need to know what the r/smudge is. r/smudge. That's what we're wondering about. Real chicken tender. Yeah, it's totally an STI. A sexually transmitted infection.
Oh, why do you call it STI? I thought they called STDs.
They do.
Except chicken tender is special.
It might be a West Coast thing. The Bab.
Is it saying chicken tenders from the West Coast?
The baby alarm. The baby alarm. Burps. All right. So while we're waiting for Follower of Clay to let us know what r/smudge is.
You might be Verena, but only Verena is Souverena.
Ooh. And with that, we're going to have a word to our sponsors.
And we'll share the recipe with me. Nice.
Yes. We don't want a recipe.
Now all I need is a rose hip bush and a garden. Put it in.
A rose hip bush.
Red currant.
There's the seed.
There's a seed. Hang on.
So, now that we're back, we just found out from Follower of Clay that the r/smudge is in fact r/c, meaning red currant. In German is?
I don't know what it is in German. In Austrian, it's Riebiseln.
Riebiseln. And we're going to have a little...
It's very red. Wow.
It is very
looks
red.
This looks like rosehip, actually. This is what... did you have rosehip juice as a boy?
Rosehip juice?
Yeah.
No.
That was like our staple as when we were kids. We had Fortress rosehip juice. It was one of those syrups that you'd dilute with water.
No. We did get... Every once in a while, there was a magic day when a postman would come and bring a box. And in that box, there was a syrup called Drink-A-Toast. And Drink-A-Toast was an old drink from the 19th century. It was a syrup that got sold, and apparently it was only popular somewhere in Pennsylvania. And my mom would get it from her mom, I'm guessing, as like a care package. And it was super yummy. It was like a syrup, and it was like a cola kind of thing that you would mix with soda water. And they called it Drink-A-Toast. And I remember thinking, what a weird name.
It is a very weird name.
But it was such an incredible day, you know, to have the post bring something to you. All right. Red currant, rote Johannisbeere.
That's right, Johannisbeere.
Nicht, but Johannisbeere sind der Riebiseln. Because we have Johannisbeere in Österreich.
Yeah, but we have schwarze Johannisbeeren,
Yeah.
which is what you usually get. But rote Johannisbeeren we call Riebiseln.
Yeah.
And you only get them. You usually only get them as jelly or jam for your toast.
Speaking of which, I also, Anya I got to eat from it. A wonderful gift from...
If you stopped talking right now, and we just left, I'm not going to go there. It'd be very interesting. You said, and I got to eat from it. And if we just left it, imagine if that was our cliffhanger.
I'm talking about the marmalade, brother. Thank you very much. It's super, super yummy. Ate a ton of that stuff. All right.
Cherry Kool-Aid.
Let's try this. It's very fruity. It's got that mealy. There's something in the.
It's got like is it a pomegranate type tang to it?
Yeah.
Which is obviously.
It's got that fruity tang, but there's that mealy. Mealy sounds terrible. But it is that savory kind of thing underneath it. There's that tannin side.
This would be a great vodka mixer. Like, so you want so much vodka, equal amounts of this, and then soda on top.
I hear you. I think this would also be a nice over a little bit of vanilla ice cream, or as in a small sherry glass as just a in-betweener. It feels like the kind of thing that an older dame, like a woman who grew up in the 20s.
Somebody called Blaze.
Yeah. And she would drink it out of little crystal glasses.
Flute-shaped glasses.
But like with the nubbles and colored, like green. Like a green glass that's covered in little nubbles, and she has to drink it in small sips.
Apparently those champagne glasses, those wide ones, were modeled on Marie Antoinette's boobs.
I've heard that story.
The best story about champagne glasses is those champagne flutes.
Yeah.
Like, I was at this party and this lady was, I wonder whose boobs these were modeled on.
Yeah. Apparently my sister.
She just dunked them in there.
Yeah, she'll get them out at any a drop of a hat.
So this is not my favorite.
Right.
This is interesting. I think I hear you on like a dessert.
Yeah.
To go with a dessert or something.
Yeah. I think that would be really nice, just as a little dessert wine, or
You know those horrible mixes you get for vodka?
Don't do it, Michael.
Not the ones you get. I'm saying the ones that you can get.
Yes.
The ones by that company that starts with a schwa.
Yeah.
Right. Them. This is much better than theirs. So what I'm saying is...
Oh, okay, time out.
What I'm saying is you want to take this and
soda
water and vodka.
And it's your own, it's like a homemade Russian, yeah. Ooh.
That's what I'm saying.
A new summer
That's what I'm talking
special.
about.
If you could aerate that, like if you put you found the right ratio, I bet you could even syrupify that if you did a reduction of this.
We're going to need liters and liters and liters of this. We're going to need this in like 9-gallon vats.
I wonder, hey, Father
9-gallon vats.
Father Clay. What's the percentage of alcohol on these? Any idea? Let us know.
I'm going to go with enough.
All right. Speaking of enough, we have already gone through
Deluxe package taste along. Wouldn't it be nice if we could send out a deluxe package taste along to all HQ fans? Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, there is a little bit of this happening, so I think we should do it now. Let's do it now. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors and everybody in between. Before we get to our last chapter, which is going to have to go fast because Michael's got a heart out and we've been just shitting around the whole time.
Shooting the breeze.
Next week, as we've previously reported, we are going to be back. And we've decided next week...
Because it's a special day.
It's a very special day.
Only comes around once like every 10 or 12 years? 15 years?
Let's not even mention that part. But it is a special day.
Yeah.
We're going to... If you use... How are we going to do this? Drum roll it.
Extreme music.
The first 5 people who use promo code ISBAZSlurpers IRL. Basically, go to the ISBAZ HQ, which is our funky Facebook group, and if you are in Vienna, I'm assuming, and you write ISBAZSlurpers IRL, the first 5 will be invited to come to the studio next week to have slurpers in real life. What do you say to that? That's the idea. We want to have a live studio audience for next week because, you know,
it only comes around once every 12 years, 15 years. Yeah.
It may or may not be that we have a special guest in the audience.
Dang. Okay, I'm calling it chapter 3.
All right. On the perfect breakfast, which does not include Follower of Clay's 28.5%, 38.5% alcohol.
We don't know which one is which.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
At this point, it doesn't actually.
Yeah.
What is the perfect breakfast?
Okay, what is the perfect breakfast? Let's break it down, Michael, because we got to go fast. We're already over time, and we're going to just get this chapter run and done. What foods need to be on the table for it to be a perfect breakfast?
Eggs.
Absolutely.
Bacon.
Yes.
Toast.
Yes.
Butter.
Yes.
Possibly beans.
I hear you.
Possibly sausage.
I hear you.
Coffee.
Hear you.
And everything else is just add-ons on top.
All right. The only thing that's missing there for me is I like an avocado.
Sure.
It's not an add-on for me. I've had avocado as breakfast for a long time throughout my life. That's kind of in there.
Sure.
All right.
If you need some fruit.
If there is a condiment, and you folks on the chat, I'm so sorry. We're both sorry. We have not been very inclusive tonight. It's just been so long. We're just catching it all up. So play along. Jump in on the chat and type in what foods need to be on the table for a perfect breakfast.
Yeah, condiments.
Yeah, so we're on condiments. What are your condiments?
Mrs. Ball's hot chutney.
Mrs. Ball's Jesus Christ. Mrs. Ball's hot chutney? Mm-hmm. I need some of this in my life. Please get it to me.
There used to be an online shop in the UK you could buy South African condiments from, but they've closed down, unfortunately.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So there's something about putting Mrs. in front of something for food stuff. So my mom used to be a big fan of Mrs. Dash, which was like a spices mixture.
Right.
There's Mrs.
It's like Mrs. Dash and you put a dash in.
Yeah. Mrs. Butterworth, which was a maple syrup. Mrs.
It kind of makes it homely somehow.
Yeah. I don't know.
It makes you you kind of trust the lady to put any good things in there.
Yeah, sure. Okay. What about hot and cold? Can a perfect breakfast be cold?
No.
No, it's got to have hot stuff.
No.
Does a perfect breakfast, can it still be a perfect breakfast without toast?
Yes, but I could go for the Italian version of Pavlov's English breakfast, and actually I'm a great fan of Scottish breakfast, but you get some fried up haggis.
Right.
That stuff's good. So I'm not a great fan of bread. I'm not a real big bread eater, but there is something about sopping up the bits that are left on your plate with a piece of bread afterwards. So that kind of makes the toast or some kind of bread important. But it doesn't have to be toast. Eggs Benedict with avo on top beats everything else hands down. Yeah.
Oh, dude, eggs Benedict?
Yeah.
So yummy. Yeah, but it's funny. For me, eggs have got to be around. I would go through these phases where certain foods had to be there for breakfast. Vodka is breakfast too. Hey, you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning. And you're absolutely right. Vodka, however, isn't just for breakfast anymore. You can have it at all times of the day. At lunch, at dinner, for late night snacks.
Whenever you have it, it counts as a meal.
Okay, those are the foods. Let's shift gears. what about the context? What do you need for a perfect breakfast, context-wise? Like, I'm a big fan of atmosphere. I like, if people ask me what kind of restaurant you want to go to, I want to go to a place with atmosphere, and that's what I mean by context. So, is a perfect breakfast in or out?
Depends on the weather.
Yeah.
I had a really nice out in 2020, February in South Africa, near Durban somewhere. So it was really warm and sunny out. And we went to this place that had great breakfast. And there was, South Africa, so there was avocado involved. And they made fresh kind of bacon and eggs breakfasts and whatever.
Right.
So that was nice. Yeah, sure. Outdoors. Great.
But I was thinking more in your own home or outside of the home.
Oh, I see.
And I think both have got to be there. I think for me, context-wise, atmosphere-wise, for breakfast, there has got to be two things happening. One is comfortability of sitting position, and two, ambient noise.
So you want ambient noise or you don't want ambient noise?
It is not about the wanting or not wanting of it. It's about, yes, I want it, but it's about the level. The ambient noise has got to be pleasing, otherwise breakfast sucks.
Right.
So if you are...
So I hate it when it's loud.
Right.
Like having breakfast in a hotel lobby, in a hotel restaurant, when everybody's there is a pain in the ass. Best breakfasts out on the terrace after the rush, when you can hear the birds.
Right. How late is it breakfast and when does it become brunch?
It becomes brunch when you've been out of bed for more than 3 hours.
Right. So you've had time to get there. Yeah.
Well, it's not a time of day thing. It's a how long since you left bed thing.
Interesting.
So you can have breakfast. I think, so as far as I'm concerned, breakfast happens 2 hours after you've left the bed.
Yeah.
And everything after that is brunch.
Okay, so there's something very sweet about Michael, which I think is really funny. Almost every time he will, if he's looking for a Bandbreite or a scale, it's always self-centered. It's never like, oh, it's between 11 and 2, or it's not a universal thing. It's always measured on where he's at.
The Michael time scale, I'm sorry.
No, I think it's very sweet. And you do that with a lot of things. You'll be like, well, yeah, is it art? Well, what does the artist think? It's art if I say it is. There's a lot of examples of this. In any case, it's very sweet. Okay, so you're saying after 3 hours of being up, so
it's brunch.
It's brunch. So
but it can be the same. It can be exactly the same foodstuffs.
Right. Or it can be the same time.
Breakfast.
So you've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning, and now it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Then it's brunch.
It's brunch. All right. I would never look at it that way, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about breakfast, and now we're at breakfast, and we're out. And if it's too loud, it sucks.
Totally.
If you're in and you're home and it's too loud, it sucks. Yeah, it's good. The atmosphere.
Well, if I'm in, I can kind of set the loudness myself. Or at least before I had kids, I could.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the fact whether it is or not. And so loudness sucks at breakfast. I agree wholeheartedly. It can't be too cold. I hate a cold breakfast. Not
like
the food,
if you're having
like,
breakfast in, you want to be mostly naked.
Exactly. I'm into a very naked breakfast. I enjoy naked breakfast. Although that said, what's something that always drove me crazy? I don't like sitting down to eat if I'm not wearing pants. There's something weird about...
When your balls are touching the surface you're sitting on, it's not relaxing enough.
Yeah. There's something weird about...
Yeah.
Okay,
I think I can get with that.
Kind of naked eating. Or
okay.
I mean, I mean...
Maybe you're thinking of having breakfast with more than just your very, very close family.
Well, I'm thinking of also having breakfast at a table. Like, if you're having breakfast on the sofa and your balls to the sofa, that's okay. But
balls to the cold surface of a chair is a no-go.
But at a table, I don't know. It's weird.
Brunch is everything that takes longer than 30 minutes?
What? You got to come to breakfast
Get
at our house.
Out! Get out
Okay,
now!
what
Wave
is-
goodbye to the screen.
Oh man, we need to get you into a nice relaxed breakfast, babe. Okay, so the context is important as well to make
Andrew
it a
found
perfect
an
breakfast.
online shop. God damn it!
What?
I've had vodka. So
Oh.
you're gonna have to come to my place for
Make
breakfast.
that happen.
Yeah.
Make that happen, Mr. Perkins. Get this man some Mrs. Balls. Mrs. Balls. That's what Michael's wife says when he's on tour. Mrs. Balls.
Which part of you do you miss the most? Mrs. Balls.
Mrs. Balls.
Okay, hash browns. Not a big friend of hash browns, but fried haggis, yes, thank you, Andrew. There's vodka. Do you remember that breakfast we had in Chicago when we met Joe Bill for breakfast?
And Pitts.
And Pitsy.
And Pitsy came.
And we had that breakfast.
Yeah.
And did we both order the Bloody Mary?
And it came out in this
Right.
like,
Okay, so
yeah.
It
was so American. Oh my God.
There was this. So I wanted to talk about the breakfast that we've shared together, right? So we had this breakfast, and we say like to the waitress, okay, yeah, bring a Bloody Mary, and then we ordered breakfast. And the Bloody Mary came, and it was like a half-liter glass of Bloody Mary with a skewer on top, and there was a hamburger and a huge motherfucking sausage.
Everything. It was like
And like gherkins and onions and stuff.
It had
So once
branches.
you'd eaten that whole thing, you were
It was like this-
completely satiated.
It was like the Swiss Family Robinson tree
Yeah.
house of
Yeah.
garnishes
Yeah.
on this fucking
Incredible.
unbelievable.
I was
But that
not
a damn
hungry.
good
I was not
breakfast.
hungry after that,
was a
and I
damn
don't
good
remember
breakfast.
the rest of the breakfast.
We also had an amazing breakfast in Budapest.
That's right. That's right. The location was pretty good. I don't remember the breakfast so much. There was avocado involved and a very cute waitress.
Yeah. I've had very good breakfast in Amsterdam. I've had some damn fine breakfasts on vacation on the island of Mallorca with you. We had a very good breakfast on the day after your stag night, which is how many years ago now is this?
It's going to be 12 years in September. No, bullshit. It's going to be 10 years in September. Yeah, we were very, very under the weather.
Underwater.
Underwater, yes.
Yeah. And there's something also about a perfect breakfast. There's something relaxing, even though you've gotten up and you're within the 3-hour time limit,
Yeah.
you know, you're up and you're at the breakfast. I've had some perfect breakfasts that involved a lot of people that have only involved myself. I've had breakfast.
One of the kind of most memorable breakfasts that I've had with you was you, me and Jacob in Linz, the night, the year that we stayed at the Marriott.
Yeah.
And we went down and had breakfast. 2 days in a row. Second day, Jacob got into a huge fight with Lily. That was no fun. But the other day, we had this amazing breakfast.
Right.
It was just like you, me, Jacob, and Lily, obviously, right? So the four of us, because they were having dad and daughter time.
Yeah.
The second day, they had a huge fight. That was no fun.
Oh, man.
And like, the two of them were fighting, and you and I were like,
All right, you two. All right. Yeah, Lily was always very. She was actually always very cool when we were on tour, but I can remember some times where she was kind of a pain in the tits. That said, Jacob isn't a bowl of fruit all the time either. But who is? Speaking of bowl of fruit, do you need that for a perfect breakfast? Well, then we've waffled on enough. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors and everybody in between.
There's one thing I'd like to say, though,
Oh, yeah.
about the perfect breakfast, Is that bacon and eggs thing?
Yeah.
Are you a crispy bacon guy or a sloppy bacon guy?
I need both. I need both. It's in the mix. You got to do it in the mix because there are some bites that need the crisp and some bites that need the chew.
Right. I don't like crispy bacon.
You don't like crispy bacon?
I don't like it. I'm not a friend of crispy bacon.
Well, we'll keep your bacon fat and juicy.
I like my bacon fat and juicy, dripping with drips.
Title of your sex tape. Dripping with drips. Hey, is
Baby making juices.
Is Bazuzlas, is Bazas, is Bezites, is Berserkers. It's wonderful to be back. We are going to continue to be back. Next week, we're going to be back.
And the week after that?
And the week after that,
I think we're back as well.
we're back as well. So
Excellent.
for the next 2 weeks, we are back. Next week is going to be episode 68. In 2 weeks, it's going to be episode 69.
Oh!
A very special episode. We might even be able to prepare for that one. This episode has been brought to you by the lack of Michael's tie and by the refinding of my vest. This episode has also been brought to you by
Follower of Clay, who generously sent alcoholic beverages for us to slurp on.
And we have a big special thanks to everybody on this damn chat.
Sloppy bacon for the win!
Real Chicken Tender, Verena, thank you very, very much. Andrew, Mr. Perkins, thank you very much. We got to come back with a names part 2. There's too much going on.
Names part 2, yeah. Okay, much ado.
Machado. Jim mean the Mrs. Balls chutney. Yes, Ms. Balls. Let's get some balls up in this. Vodka is breakfast too. Machado and Verena, Pavlov's dog. Thank you so much for joining us. Moko, thank you for being here. Philly
I
Girl
wish we could
1000,
find a way of
thank you.
doing that deluxe package taste along. That'd be so cool.
All right, we're gonna have a talk with Follower of Clay about a deluxe patch. And we've got
And Philly Girl 1000.
Philly Girl 1000. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, and everyone in between, we will see you here next week at 8:30 on the Thor's Day, bringing some sense and sensibility back into the lives. In the
Making sure it is
times.
about something.
In the between times, please check out Isbaz HQ. That's our funky Facebook group.
And if you enjoyed this thing, like our video, please. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe.
Did you notice that over the time we now have got over 100 subscribers?
Didn't we say something crazy about the 100th subscriber gets like a bag of Smarties or something?
That
Stickers?
sounds very much like us.
We'd have to go back and watch episodes to find out
have to
whether we
figure
did
out-
say that.
or how do you figure out who the 100th subscriber was? Is there a list?
Maybe Facebook, maybe YouTube can tell you.
Well, we'll get on that. But thank you very much
Or not.
for having over 100 subscribers. That's amazing. Hey, you guys. Hey, you ladies.
It's like over 100
Hey, you
subscribers.
folks.
Yeah. Hundreds of people watch the show.
Literally dozens. Literally dozens of people. And we appreciate each and every one of you. So, we'll see you next week. Stay safe. Stay cool. And remember,
Ooh.
no matter what the subject,
Or what it was about,
even if you disagree,
you can always hug it out.
hug it out.
Hug it out.
Hey, everybody. Let's hug it out. Bye. Thank you. Post-credit thingy.
Malcolm.
Charles.
Jesus.
Mahatma.
Genghis Khan.
Charles the Great.
Tom.
Dave.
Faye.
Maria.
Tuesday.
Marcus.
Dorothy.
Hamilton.
Winston.
Chester.
Chad.
Diana.
Brick.
Steele.
Archie.
Boris.
Jughead.
Clarence.
Bruce.
Christian.
Selena.
Dora.
Ethel.
Estefan.
Irma.
Ike.
Beatrice.
Jorge.
Irma. Did I say Irma?
That was fine. Clara.
You know, there's those names, there's those women's names from the 40s where I just think, you know, that beautiful little human is born and you look at it and you think, I'm gonna call you
Gieselheit.